Good morning, Indy fans. It's Thursday, the 1st of July 2021, and it's time for DaviePHD's Mythbusters, episode 38. Many things are said about Scotland, independence, the Union, the European Union, etc. And in these videos I bust the myths that many people believe and are commonly peddled by those opposed to our independence. This week we explore OBON Day. Now, if you watched my Boris's Best of British Bulletin last week, you'll have seen that the first item discussed was One Britain, One Nation, or OBON Day, which took place on Friday the 25th of June, where school kids were going to be encouraged to take part in a sing-along of the OBON anthem and celebrate British unity, diversity and pride. Now, you could be forgiven for thinking that there's no real harm being done here. A few kids singing a song, what's the big deal? Now, everyone has a right to feel pride in their nation, for whatever reasons they believe to be true. People should have the right to show that pride, and if they feel the need to do so, to promote it. But the whole OBON idea met with scorn, ridicule, and unfortunate comparisons with the Hitler Youth. It seemed to start off innocently enough. A retired policeman, Cash Singh, who entered the UK as an immigrant, wanted to start something to generate community cohesion and pride in Britain. The group was founded in 2012 in Bradford. They held annual events to promote pride in Britain. At some stage, they got some lottery funding and some celebrity endorsements. But this is where things get a bit murky. Throughout 2019, this group had a Tory-dominated all-party parliamentary group meeting about it. In 2021, the organisation had come up with a song, an OBON anthem, if you will. Schools were encouraged to take part in a sing-along of the OBON anthem and celebrate British unity, diversity and pride. OBON Day was to be the 25th of June. It was even promoted by the Department for Education and mentioned in Parliament. So with all those advantages and backing of powerful people, why did OBON Day flop so badly? Let's watch a wee bit of the video just to remind ourselves what it was like. Of course, when you see that, you can understand why people drew the Hitler Youth parallels. Well, first in was the Welsh government, who panned the idea. Welsh school kids were then encouraged to sing the Welsh national anthem as their national team was about to play in the Euro 2020 tournament. Next in was our own First Minister Nicola Sturgeon, who ridiculed the whole thing, saying she initially thought it was a spoof and that being promoted by the UK government showed their flawed priorities. Many people drew comparisons with the Nazi indoctrination of children via the Hitler Youth. And to be totally objective about it, flag-waving nationalism, uniformity, coercion of children to take part through the instruments of the state, in this case their schools, it's not an entirely unreasonable comparison. Many teachers felt that the values in the song didn't match their own, or perhaps more importantly, their pupils' lived experience of being UK citizens in 2021. Many schools received letters of complaint from parents that this was brainwashing. In the end, only 3% of English schools took part. None in Wales took part, none in Scotland took part, and for some inexplicable reason, none in Northern Ireland were even invited to take part. Of course, once OBON Day 21 has been ridiculed and flopped, the Tory government, who had all been fully behind it, dropped it like a hot potato. The Prime Minister's official spokesman said, The Prime Minister supports schools promoting fundamental British values, including tolerance and respect, and we endorse One Britain, One Nation's aim to help children learn about equality, kindness and pride. But I will point out that the department has not asked people to sing songs or promoting any specific materials for One Britain, One Nation Day. Of course, we all know that if it had been a massive success, that quote would have been radically different, and exaggerated claims of Boris's personal involvement would have been all over the telly box. Mr. Singh said of the backlash that he was
intentions disappointed, but that's their problem, not the problem of the children and not the problem of the school, and it's something they need to reflect on with shame.
Now, Mr. Singh may well have started this initiative with the very noblest of intentions, but he would have done well to remember the entire United Kingdom when promoting British pride. And of course, Mr. Singh would do well to remember that the current Tory government are among the most corrupt ever. As soon as your scheme is associated with them, it's doomed. Now, I would agree that the schools and the children are not to blame. No issue taken with them at all. But in a UK where a footballer is a stronger advocate for hungry school kids than their government, in a UK which is one of the G7 but has 5 million children living in poverty, in a UK where corruption and incompetence at the centre of government is so commonplace it's hardly even news anymore, there may be more to be ashamed of in being British than there is to be proud of. As I said at the beginning, Mr. Singh and his organisation have the right to feel proud to be British, but they don't have the right to be correct about it. My message to Mr. Singh and any others who share his outlook is this: a nation with real reasons to be proud of itself doesn't need to wave its flag or beat its chest or coerce children into taking part in these displays. They can be proud by just being themselves, because as Immanuel Kant said, virtue is its own reward. And I look forward to the day when Scotland, and the other home nations if they choose, will break free of this union. And we Scots will finally be able to be ourselves, and in being so become a fairer and more inclusive society, enjoying our own virtuous reward. And just in case any of you still think OBON are about inclusion and openness, consider this. OBON didn't even bother to check when Scottish schools went on holiday and staged their Festival of Unity after many Scottish schools had closed for the holidays. OBON didn't even invite schools in one of our devolved nations, Northern Ireland, to take part. Which leads me to believe that the real intended audience OBON seeks is focused in one of the home nations, not all of them. And finally, OBON responds like this when you question their initiative, ambitions, aims, and or their failure. But Mr. Singh, I look forward to OBON Day 2022, because when people like your good self are doing the work of the independence movement for us, it makes life so much easier. So on that note, I wish you good luck. Folks, thanks for watching. Please feel free to share this video with anyone you like. DaviePHD.